All right, guys, welcome back to Game 4 of our little MLG PC exhibition match of Starcraft 2 Beta. Louder is now up 2-1 over Artosis, and we're going into the fourth map, Kulos Ravine, which is actually a four-player map. You see this a lot in the 2v2, but it's also in the 1v1 pool of maps. And Sean, I mean, this is a little bit bigger map. It takes a little bit longer to get to each other's bases. What do you think you're going to see in this match?
Well, it's really interesting to see how Artosis in particular has been playing out these openings. He's been getting a lot of Zerglings early on, and there's a big decision when we're doing any strategy as Zerg, which is when do I make drones? Because you have to choose for your larva, do I make a unit or do I make a worker to get more money? And with every single build, there's this long period of time where you do really powering is how they call it, just making as much long-term focused stuff as possible, a lot of drones. But we've seen Artosis really favor a ton of Zerglings, and I think that he's intending to get Mutalisks really quickly, and then that's when he's going to be making the drones, so he builds up a really big economy. And he's kind of forced to make Zerglings this entire time because he's been really spread out all over the place. Especially in Desert Oasis, it's really hard to defend those two bases. But on Kulos Ravine, because you kind of have a nicely tucked away natural expansion, I want to see if he's going to be making some extra drones when he expands, when he goes for Mutalisks, or whether at this point, if he's going to completely abandon this Mutalisk-oriented strategy he's going for, because really Louder seems to have a very solid grasp of how to crush it.
All right, well, I guess we'll go ahead and start this next match on Kulos Ravine, the fourth match of our little exhibition series, with Louder up 2-1. Now, one thing I like about this map is it's not, of course, 8 players, but it reminds me a little bit of the old StarCraft 1 map, Big Game Hunters, or Hunters in general, I guess, before Big Game. And those what am I trying to say? The different spawning pools in the corners of the map. Of course, Big Game Hunters did have the 8-player map instead of 4 players, so there were 4 more in a cross-section. But enough about me talking about how bad I was at StarCraft 1. Let's go ahead and get this match.
It's a wonderful free-to-play Big Game Hunters. I fully recommend it to anyone who doesn't have the beta.
Oh, I'm going to get flamed so hard for that. But anyways, we've got Louder, the red Protoss here at the 7 o'clock position, and Artosis, the blue Zerg, in the 2 o'clock position. And of course, both corners, we see Artosis sending his Overlord down there to the southern expansion right below him. But of course, there's the drone, as we've seen in every matchup so far, going to scout the other bases. And again, we see that 9 pylon from Louder, which is what we saw last game, a little bit earlier than the 2 prior games to that. Other than that, still kind of early to see what each player is going to be doing. We see, of course, the Overlord coming out at 10, with the drone followed right by that. We'll have to see what he decides to do here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one thing to note is that Artosis has been playing the ladder as random, and Artosis has been playing as random, and Louder has had the opportunity to play just Protoss. So What's nice about Artosis' position is that if there's a gimmick he's comfortable with, he can specifically choose that race on that map and try to abuse it. So we've seen him do this Zergling directly into Mutalisk strategy, and that might be because he's been experiencing a lot of success with it. And, I mean, if he didn't have to declare his race beforehand, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd maybe switch to Protoss or Terran on some of these other maps to try to exploit little tendencies that he's noticing in the player, or little terrain abuses in the map.
Right. We also see he got that pylon down at 9, but he waited till 14 supply to throw down that gateway, and then followed up right at 15 with an assimilator on that Vespine Geyser. So a little bit later build, but he might just be trying to pump out those probes there with the chrono boost from the Nexus. We see a pylon going down right outside of his base, so pretty much standard things that we've seen from Louder these past couple of matches.
Yeah, it looks like he's very much so liking that fast tech. We haven't seen him do any sort of 2-gate pressure early on, perhaps because the Roach is so strong at dealing with those early Zealot rushes. And oh look, already Artosis doing a little bit of a different build, taking that expansion right away. His natural is very nicely tucked away there, and until those destructible rocks at his back door, right at that north end of the map, until those are down, Artosis really doesn't have to worry about his front getting, about anyone sneaking into his main. So only now is he getting that Geyser up. Very economically oriented build for Artosis.
Yep, I think with that drone, he kind of scouted and saw that Louder was kind of doing the quick tech like he is. He only spawned 2 Zerglings and decided to get the gas and keep spawning drones out of his main there. Still spawning drones, waiting for that natural to finish popping up. His gas does, of course, finish, and he transfers over. 2 drones, 3 drones going there. Still no Zerglings being made out of Artosis' base. Lauder's about to sneak in a probe there. Uh-oh, he's going... He might be trying to... Oh, okay, I guess that was just kind of a click over the... Oh, nope, he's throwing down a pylon. I think we're going to see some work gates here.
Push. Yeah, this is beautiful play by Lauder.
That is a great position I've seen in 2v2s. If I ever proxy on this map, I always do it right there behind those brushes because they cannot see it unless they go behind that. So we'll have to see how he utilizes that pylon there, hopefully with some really offensive play. He's almost done there researching warp gate, so I think we're going to see this pretty soon.
Wow, yeah, this is brilliant play by Lauder. At the same time, though, I mean, if you're in Zerg's shoes, after this game, you're always going to be sending a Zergling to that brush to check for it. So this is one of those once-in-a-lifetime strategies that you can only use against one player once.
Right.
Everyone really starts, seeing it. And that's what's always so fun to see in a game like Starcraft, people being more and more and more clever over time. And look at this Lauder getting 3 warp gates up so fast, and I don't know if it's going to be enough for Artosis. Looks like he's spawned just a whole bunch of larvae, but let's see what he makes out of them.
They made more drones. He spawned a couple Zerglings there. I'm kind of interested. Artosis sent 2 Zerglings up to kind of the left, right above his natural expansion. Maybe he's scouting for maybe some warp gates or a proxy up there. I'm not really sure, but of course we do see 4 Zealots about to hit his natural.
Yeah, he's just... Oh, sorry, I completely talked over you.
It's all good.
So excited in this moment of tension, and look at this. Oh my God, tons of units coming right out here.
This might be it right here. What?
What?
Perfect response from Artosis there.
And look, yet the same combination from Lauder being used in all these games, trying to surround, but I don't know if he's going to have enough units. He's just powering so hard in a beautiful force field by that sentry to take everything out. And Artosis in his main responding by trying to make as many Zerglings as he can, but this hatchery is going to fall.
Yeah, he of course just finished the Speedlings for... I mean, the upgrade for the Lings there to make them quicker, but I don't know if he's going to be able to take down... How many Zealots is that? 8? 9 Zealots?
Wow, with, getting bigger every single second.
Yeah,
I mean,
10 Zealots there.
11 there, Jesus. Tons of abuse going on right now, and these poor overlords just falling, and Artosis in the red food again. Starts building some spine crawlers, but I think it's going to be a little bit late. But uh-oh, the Zergling's coming back here. And it looks like they're going to be taking out this Stalker and the Sentry. Oh, no, just the Sentry, but
He's
still.
got a lot of Zerglings there. He might be able to maybe deflect this. We see Lauder taking his natural expansion there back at his base.
Oh, 3 Delta!
Nice round.
Wow, that was a beautiful, beautiful job. But very, very safe play happening right now by Artosis. He wants to make sure that he uses that spine crawler to the fullest. Make sure that he doesn't try to move out too early.
Yep.
But look at that money build up for Artosis. If you just click on that hatchery, he is almost 600, 200.
Yeah, he's kind of hurting right now there on the economy, and Lauder's kind of got him surrounded right now. He's got 2 Lings, Artosis does. He's kind of sending them through the map. I think he might see the natural expansion here from Lauder, but Lauder's going to push into the Zerg's base. Here we go. I hope he's just taking out that Overlord, kind of hurting Artosis' supply here. Oh, wow. Nice force build there from the Sentry.
Yeah, and just not nearly enough Zerglings. Look at all of them falling so quickly. It's going to be just Zealots against 1 Queen and 2 Spine Crawlers. Let's see how much damage those Spine Crawlers can do. Maybe there's some way he can hold it off and micro these drones, but it looks like everything's just falling so fast. And the same style push in games 2, 3, and 4 looks like it's going to lead to victory here for Lauder in this series.
Oh, Artosis is pulling the drones, trying to deflect that while the Spine Crawler finishes. He's microing that Queen pretty well, and Lauder's forces have diminished, but he's still got, what, was that 6 Zealots there, and now he's focusing that spawning pool, and I think that's pretty much game right there. Now he's not going to be able to make any defenses. Throws up another spawning pool. He's staying in the game, but Lauder's reinforcing his already, well, now not that strong, but he just sent in 4 more Zealots. And that warp gates are still...
Lauder, yeah, he's just in wonderful shape. There's like very little that's going to be able to pull Artosis through this. I mean, in the midst of that huge attack, should have been morphing up to a layer, or at least making a Roach Warren, or some next step of his play should have been in the works. But right now, Artosis still has money up at 1,000. I wouldn't even mind throwing down another hatchery or a Roach Warren. Just some way to spend that money, because just Zerglings is just not going to be enough.
Yep, we see a Stargate being now thrown down in Lauder's base. 2 Stargates, actually. Probably I mean, he's got the expansion there to support that, so we might see some pumping of the Phoenixes from Louder, and Artosis now back with a new spawning pool, spawning those Zerglings en masse with another Spine Crawler going down, and just a huge force right outside his base from Louder, warping in with those warp gates right outside his base, as well as the units from his base. And I mean, I don't know. Do you think Artosis can pull this out right now?
Dude, Artosis has got this, man. Well, I mean, part of it is that if it's the last game in a series, I mean, you're going to give it your all to stick in there. Look, getting the roaches already, still, I would not mind another hatch being thrown down here. I mean, even though you can't support it for the entire game, it's still going to be really useful to just spend your money to get some sort of chance of winning right now. But if we go back down into Louder's base, we see 4 Stargates.
Wow.
Hey, 2 are already finished. Looks like he's canceling one, just going for some sort of mass Phoenix play to lift up every single unit.
Wow, he's putting down a pylon there, kind of in a bad position at the top left. Putting down a pylon. Maybe he's just using that to make sure Artosis doesn't get an expansion there.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you're in this big of a lead...
we see a fight now in Artosis' base. Some nice force builds there. The Zerglings are glitching. I think that's going to do it for Artosis.
What a beautiful force field right there. That was incredible. Artosis is going to try to make... looks like he's still making Zerglings. He has that Roach Warren finished right now. Still trying to hang in there. And when you are in as big of a lead as you are, as Louder, the smartest thing you can do is make sure that there's no dumb loss that could potentially be happening in him.
Yeah, so and you see pylons just thrown up around the entire map. Sorry to cut you off there, but yeah.
Oh, no, absolutely. Totally a great move to be doing in this situation.
No, he's trying to... We see some destructible rocks being attacked now by the Spine Crawler and 4 Zerglings and Artosis' base right outside, or right below his main there. Possibly trying to get that expansion because he knows that's the one place that Louder possibly can't pylon. But of course, he doesn't know that Louder has pylons now across the entire map. And we see Louder flipping in more Zealots right outside of his base. And I mean, Louder's definitely got the economy right now. He's got 3 gates pumping Phoenixes. Those are going. I haven't seen any. Oh, okay. He's got 5 of them now. It is natural expansion. I think once those things stop, he's moving them now. I think this is going to be a quick defeat right here for Artosis after a valiant effort to kind of stay in the game after such a long time now.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like these Phoenixes, considering how many Louder's going to get, he could lift up each of those Zerglings individually and kill them. He just has so much stuff. Yep, and only just now is that Spore Crawler getting thrown down, and I'm not sure if it's going to be up in time. It's almost done, and those Phoenixes are still just checking around the map for other expansions, so it looks like Artosis is still going to be able to get just a little bit more time, but he is hurting for money, so he is throwing down that expansion at that right base that's behind his base.
Yeah, but
rocks.
He's gotten a couple of roaches now, and he's got about... what is that, 24? He's got about 30 lings now. He's about to start fighting right outside of Artosis' base with those roaches. But of course, some nice force fields coming down from Louder. And of course, there's the Guardian Shield, which reduces range damage by 2. It's a great, not a hard counter or anything like that, but it's a great unit to have against roaches.
And look at this amazing job by Louder. Look at him. He is at 113 food against.
Oh, and he lifts the Queen and just kills the
And the Queen instantly is gone, cutting Zerg's macro by more than half. And these roaches at the front are trying to do some damage, trying to stay in the game somehow. But Artosis is going to get in the negative food zone really, really quickly here.
Yeah, he has so many Phoenixes. What is that? 10 Phoenixes just lifting up. And Artosis says, LOL, GG. Then that is going to do it for our first exhibition match with Louder beating Artosis, Protoss versus Zerg 3-1. And I mean, Sean, going into this, did you have any expectations on who was going to win, or were you just kind of thinking both opponents are going to be kind of equal level and just have to see what happens?
Well, I mean, it's hard to tell because Artosis is very talented at playing random at this stage, and I was really interested to see why he was choosing Zerg early on. And even though he had some nice builds, what I loved so much about Louder's play is that it was super solid. He opens up with these very nice Zealot Sentry Stalker pushes that, in all honesty, if the Zerg holds it off, the Zerg isn't going to crush that sort of army. He's just going to be able to push it back. So that means that Louder can go on to the next step of his plan, which were those Phoenixes. So I really like that very smooth, all-game-long type transitioning happening from Louder. It really looks like those 200 games have paid off. He has a lot of knowledge of just how the flow of that matchup goes over time.
Right, right. Now, this, of course, will not be the only StarCraft 2 exhibition match that we do over here at MLG. We'll be doing a lot more down the line, and they most likely will be live, although I'm not going to make any promises there. We'll just have to see what happens in the future. But, Sean, I mean, this was obviously a lot of fun. I want to thank you a lot for coming on and help casting this with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I had an absolute blast. It's really fun to see two of the best StarCraft 1 USA players duking it out in StarCraft 2, and no doubt they're going to be out for some revenge in a little bit. We're probably going to even see another exhibition match between the two of them coming up soon.
We'll have to see about that. I mean, saying good games to each player after that, and both kind of seem a little bit iffy about that. Louder is actually telling me that he tried to make the last two entertaining, so maybe there was a little bit of different strategy that he did there in those games. I'm not sure how Artosis is going to feel about that. But
I bet of course, hoping to encounter each other in the ladder, really shows off.
Yep. So, of course, if you want more of Sean and you want to hear that voice of his, you can, of course, check out his Day 9 dailies. Sean, what is the schedule for your Day 9 dailies again?
Well, the schedule is posted on the livestream channel, which is at livestream.com/StriderDoom. It's generally at 7 p.m. Or at 9 or 10 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays, respectively.
All right.
5 days a week, StarCraft, all the time.
And you also do the Team Liquid beta podcast over at teamliquid.net. You can check that out. There's 2 episodes out, and you guys have been talking about the patch changes and a couple other things with your friend. Is it? I'm not going to try to... Yeah, there you go.
So, and also, Team Liquid Star League, a lot of fun events going on in the StarCraft community right now.
Yep. So make sure to head over to teamliquid.net and check a lot of that out. And, of course, we'll be back in the future with a lot more matches. And again, Sean, thanks for doing this. You have any last words you want to say before we close this out?
I just sincerely hope we see more awesome games in future MLG exhibition matches.
All right, well, there you have it from Sean, Day 9 Platt, and that's about going to do it. This is JP McDaniel for the MLG PC Circuit signing off.